Well, we know ICT in general translates into information and communication technologies. And today it includes anything that has to do with computers, information networking, software development, etc., etc. Excuse me. So it is a catch-all phrase for all the digital technologies. If you were to listen to any developing country that is attempting to drive its economy into global competitiveness, ICT is quoted near, if not at the very top of the list of activities. So options range from the creation of new software applications through outsourcing from more developed countries and even getting into large-scale data storage. And we know the present move to cloud computing that includes the use of equipment, data storage, and application online on the cloud is relocating some of these activities back into the developed countries. Now, we see that the cloud can offer some opportunities to small developing countries. And in Trinidad and Tobago, many of the advocates for economic diversification also recommend ICT in the same manner. So the application areas are generally human resource intensive as opposed to capital intensive, which makes it ideally suited to the developing countries. Now, I'm going to go through just a few examples of what's been happening in the world in some of these countries and give you some examples like Ireland, Israel, and Costa Rica that have utilized ICT to help them to develop their economies and to bring them into the modern world. Now, the concern of a ministry such as mine in the thrust to economic diversification via our national innovation system is how exactly do you use ICT in this exercise? Whose lead do you follow if you follow anyone's lead? These are questions that we have to answer if we are really serious about economic diversification, excuse me, and which of the ICTs, which areas we are going to maybe focus on as niches. So let us look at Ireland. When you look at Ireland, you see Microsoft, you see Oracle, and the like. Costa Rica, the same is true for Costa Rica. That started with Intel accepting the offer of the president of Costa Rica to come and locate in their country. The question, therefore, is to fully utilize the opportunities presented by information communication technologies, do you have to partner with or be employed by the big names and attract them to TNT to participate in our thrust to develop tradables in the ICT world? So let us look at the Irish model. A large percentage of the software firms in Ireland are foreign-owned. These firms do not compete with low-wage countries like India and China in providing low-level coding, maintenance, or outsourcing services. What they have done instead is they have targeted niche software products and services to which they can add the most value. In fact, they derive a significant portion of their revenue from implementation, internationalization, and localization, like adapting to the local languages of packaged software applications, rather than on the development or software maintenance. So the key success factors for the Irish industry are, first of all, Ireland's location, the culture and the low-cost business environment. The country is about 6 hours from the United States, from the eastern coast of the United States, and 2 hours, just less than 2 hours from continental Europe. So it became a prime location with excellent infrastructure for US companies who wanted to do business in the European Union. And the biggest strength of the Irish software sector is its highly skilled and well-educated workforce that allows the firms to specialize in e-commerce, in network securities and management, and messaging software. The problem, though, is that it's a small country, and the small number of software developers it could produce any year was a roughly 11,000, as compared with Russia, who can have an output from their education system of 60,000 at that level, or China or India, which are even bigger. So this output of software talent in Ireland, because it's small, will continue to drive up costs and therefore will limit the market opportunities for their software firms. Now, Trinidad and Tobago. We have a third of the population of Ireland, and some may think that we are also in an ideal location, as Ireland was, but we may suffer the very same disadvantage of smallness in that country. In Ireland, the government support was very aggressive. The tax rate came down to 12.5% for that kind of company, the lowest actually in the European Union, and its government offers numerous financial incentives to foreign corporations for most of the investment in Ireland. So that was an excellent business climate. This excellent business climate, coupled with the low taxes, played a major part in attracting, retaining, and developing its software industry. Now, today, Ireland has been devastated, but the why for that is for another day. We'll not go into that today. In Costa Rica, which we said we would look at as well, the software industry is a very important engine of growth. National policy is an important driver of their ICT industry. This policy includes developing and continually strengthening an interconnected network of organizations, much like what we in Trinidad and Tobago are doing with the introduction of the National Innovation System, which contains the Innovation Diamond, which has all the points that are also being used in Costa Rica. We have the high-level people, infrastructure with proper legislation, marketing, market development, and of course finance. Now, we have also seen that such a policy in Ireland focused on attracting foreign direct investment to exploit the European Union market. India's policy focused on software services, and Israel's policy embedded software in products. So there were different kinds of focal points and different areas for niche production. Again, in Costa Rica by 2005, there were 150 software development companies, most of them micro, small and medium-sized, doing work on applications for the internet and engineering systems. So they developed and focused on niches. Some 30% of the production in that country was actually exported. Further, Costa Rica created a local institution whose formal mandate was to promote foreign direct investment. And this was a problem in Costa Rica. Foreign direct investment was also part of the reason and important in the growth of the Irish industry. And of course the same in India. They've encouraged Texas Instruments and Motorola to come into India. In India, the introduction of foreign direct investment spawned a new generation of entrepreneurs and contributed to a change in the then existing institutional structure, which up to then had been dominated by family firms and small-sized family firms. However, in Costa Rica, the process of encouraging foreign direct investment presented difficulties as it was very uncoordinated, and of more importance, the foreign direct investment tended to undermine the growth of the small indigenous firms. And that is an issue that we must face head-on. For example, Intel was able to offer higher salaries. And of course, with the glamour of going to work for an international company, they were able to poach trained staff away from the small local firms. and the relative size of Costa Rica's national pool of software engineers contributed to and magnified the negative effects of foreign direct investment's entry into their industry. In fact, there was a bidding war among the major foreign direct investment firms in poaching staff from each other, which drove up salaries to the detriment again of the local firms. So this, just as in Ireland actually, was further exacerbated by the fact that the training schools couldn't provide sufficient human resources to meet the fast-growing demand for the skilled staff. Now, I've given you that thumbnail sketch because we need to understand where we're going in this industry. This demonstrates that Trinidad and Tobago will face at least two challenges in the establishment of a globally competitive ICT sector. The first is, what areas should we address? Should we look at the creation of engineering and management software, given our long-standing experience in the energy sector and our fledgling manufacturing sector? Or should we be looking at outsourcing and offering our services in offshore support for the US? Or should we, serendipity-wise, let everyone do her own thing? Also, should we, like Ireland, focus on the encouragement of foreign direct investment into the sector? Now, my ministry will be conducting a foresighting exercise to answer this question. This foresighting exercise is among all our local stakeholders, among all our diaspora, and those who are interested in the development of Trinidad and Tobago. One option we can look at and say, yes, indeed, one option for us is conceptual innovation, in which companies do not actually create new or improved technologies, but they use the existing technologies to create new systems. For example, Google, well-known Google, Yahoo search engines, and of course the new social networks like Facebook and Twitter and all those other things. They did not create the technology, but they used the technology to create those products. And also many small companies are using cell phones and their data networks to create market service systems, banking by cell phone, and other mobile applications. And some are involved in things that they saw abroad, bringing it into the local scene, like fast SMS messaging. Another option for us, as was done in Costa Rica, is for us to become proficient in, say, some engineering or some medical technology, and then use ICT to enhance new applications of the technology. Indeed, one of my colleagues did just that by building a department of electrical and computer engineering at the University of the West Indies, in which all of its graduates are electrical engineers, but all have basic training in computer systems and design, with an option to develop fairly in-depth skills in the design of computer software systems.